everyone, and welcome to the Money Man, Money Boy show on Premier League predictions. Ollie, how are we doing for the year?
Yeah, not too badly. You're in the lead, obviously.
Why is that obvious?
Because every week we're saying that. But you and me, even last week, 4 from 9.
Yeah.
Hoping it would have been 5 from 10 had City and Arsenal played.
Who would you have picked in that?
I would have picked City.
Yeah.
I mean,
I probably would have gone for a draw.
But you picked Liverpool to beat City.
I
in
did.
Last week's show, we haven't actually had a chance to.
I haven't had a chance to
debrief on that. Well done.
Thank you. I mean, and you must have been happy that I was right, being a Liverpool fan. It was a gut feel. You know, sometimes you got when it's screaming at you like that, you gotta, you know, and they are one of the only teams that give Man City trouble on a regular basis. So nice to see Liverpool. You know, I think that's 3 games on the trot now that they've won.
Yeah.
A couple of clean sheets. Maybe, just maybe, things are turning around, you know. But it's getting pretty condensed at the bottom, huh?
Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously the news of the week, Steven Gerrard being sacked after 3-0 loss to Fulham last night. I think I called that one. I think Villa to lose to Fulham. But yeah, I mean, Steven Gerrard this year, I think it's 31 matches, 8 losses. There's something like he's got a 25% win record for the year in 31 matches, you know, which just doesn't matter who you were as a player, you know, it isn't.
So I think that the expectations of the club after him spending a lot of money, and then not fulfilling it. You know, again, I think that it was too soon. Yeah. You know, a couple of losses. You got to ask yourself, who are you going to attract as a manager to Aston Villa 1?
I saw Brendan Rodgers came out and said, but look, I mean, he's speaking from a position where, you know, he should have been sacked probably a couple of games ago, but was saying, you know, football's lost its patience and.
Well, we live in a world and a culture where people want instantaneous stuff, you know.
Yeah. What do you think? Would you have? I
wouldn't have fired Steve.
He's won 2 games out of 11 matches.
Yeah.
What?
Look, it's again. My question is, who are they going to get in to replace him?
Yeah.
You know, he's not a bad manager. You know, he's committed and a true professional. So, but the results, I suppose, at the end of the day, were sealed his fate. And I would have given him more time, but I'm a big Stevie G fan.
Yeah.
You know? So, but you know, you see it with Scott Parker leaving Bournemouth, him complaining about not having enough money, needing to spend, and then I think it was O'Neill came in, caretaker manager. Look what he's done with it. Yeah. So you know, it's always interesting to bet on games involving a team with a managerial change.
Yeah, I think Aston Villa play. They play Bournemouth, don't they? I mean,
Fulham.
Yeah. No, that was Fulham last night. So, sorry, Brentford. Aston Villa play Brentford, who drew to Chelsea 0-0 on Wednesday night. That was an interesting one. You actually called it. You called the 1-1. I thought Chelsea were going to win quite comfortably. Yeah. But Brentford's a weird team like that, you know?
Yeah, they are. They punch above their weight.
Yeah.
Let's get into it this week. We've got the early kickoff on Saturday. Nottingham Forest versus Liverpool. Funny stat here, all. Nottingham Forest haven't lost in 8 games to Liverpool at their home ground.
When was the last time they played?
I knew you were going to ask that. Imagine a while ago.
Yeah.
But it's a place that Liverpool don't do well at. But do you hold any credibility to that history?
I mean, given the 2 sides at the moment, you know, it would be shocking if Liverpool did lose there.
Yeah, I agree.
But there's weird patterns to any sporting history, you know. It doesn't matter what the teams are. But I mean, I don't think I'm going to look too much into that for this weekend. I kind of like what I've seen with Liverpool the last 2 weeks. It's nice,
especially with Van Dijk as well. He's starting to come back into, and as he goes, Liverpool goes.
Just looking settled, and I think again though that midfield makes a big difference. You know, having Thiago and Fabinho performing. Yeah, they're just looking a little bit more on top of it. I was stoked to see that like Salah and Van Dijk had pretty big performances against City because I think a lot of that team there are those kind of marquee players in that team. Nunez against West Ham got a goal, I wouldn't even say blowing hot and cold, because he's blown cold for most of the time, but looking a little bit better, settling into a system, maybe playing up front with Salah. So yeah, I like Liverpool to get some goals in this game, and I'm going to say 3-0.
I've got 3-1 for Liverpool. I think that they'll win. I think they'll break that undefeated winless streak in Nottingham and get all 3 points. You have Everton versus Crystal Palace.
Yeah, Everton they've won the last 2 games after losing and losing and losing. So things looking slightly on the up for them. Crystal Palace, on the other hand, have drawn and lost from their last 2 games. Mm-hmm. They are playing away. They don't travel that well.
No. But then you've got
But it just feels weird betting on an Everton win, to be completely honest, this season.
Well, they haven't scored in 265 minutes of Premier League football. So it's in order for them to win, they've got to score.
Yeah.
So looking at the best you can hope for, I think if you're an Everton fan, is a draw. But I think Crystal Palace win this 1-0 for me.
Interesting. I'm gonna go for an Everton win.
Yeah, look, they haven't won in 7 visits to the Toffees. That's for what history's worth. But I just think that Crystal Palace is starting to come into form a little bit. We're starting to see, an easier schedule for them. They had a tough schedule to start. I just like them to sneak out a 1-0 win.
I'm going to go 1-0 to Everton.
Okay. Then we have Manchester City at Brighton.
Yeah.
What do you see? Is this the time that Brighton get a hiding?
Yeah, 3. I mean, in the context of what they've given to other teams, we call it a hiding, but 3-0 to Manchester City.
Yeah, I have 3-0 to Man City as well. So we're generally agreeing this week.
Nice to be, yeah.
Let's go to Chelsea versus Man United, which is probably the pick of the week.
Yeah, I mean, that should be a great game. I'm not sure if you watched the United-Tottenham game on Wednesday night. I was bouncing between that game and then Liverpool-West Ham, obviously. But I got a decent amount of both of them because they started about half an hour apart. United were on fire. I mean, that game they could have had 4 goals, Nice to see a team taking some shots out of the box as well. I don't know if that's been if Ten Hag's been doing that in training, but you kind of get the sense at the moment in football, if you look at football now compared to even like 10 years ago, is guys almost want to walk that ball into the box,
Yeah.
You're not seeing like those classic long range
Tony Yeboah get goals. Yeah,
so it was cool to just see guys picking it, from and taking those opportunities. I think Lloris made 8 saves against United of like on target shots. So really like what I saw from them. Obviously didn't like what I saw from Ronaldo. Walk off at 89 minutes when your team's winning. Chelsea,
He's just making himself unsignable, isn't he? Who wants him?
I think it's just sad. It's like, if you talk about the Messi-Ronaldo camp, I've always been in the Messi camp, but very appreciative of what Ronaldo is as a football player. And it's very sad to see his season, or like his career sort of tapering off in this way.
Yeah.
A lot of it self-inflicted, because if you had to, he's playing in the United side that by all accounts has improved a hell of a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. But Despite him, which is maybe what he's really struggling to come to terms with.
Yeah.
But they've actually got pretty evenly stacked stats for the season so far. So United, they both played 10 games. United and Chelsea both won 6. Both scored 15 goals. United have conceded 15. Chelsea have conceded 10.
Yeah.
Sitting at 4th and 5th, so very evenly stacked in terms of.
With Newcastle breathing heavily down the necks of these teams.
Heavily down and having scored more goals, 18 more goals for Newcastle. So I don't see it being a high-scoring game. Chelsea are hosting them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go with a 2-1 Chelsea win.
Wow, are you reading my notes? Chelsea undefeated under Potter.
Yeah.
He seems to be settling in. He's had weeks to settle in there. And I think that the game with Manchester United victory over Tottenham, where they did look emphatic, I'm always a bit wary of back-to-back games with big teams.
For sure.
When you've left nothing out on the field, and then you go in to play at Chelsea, a well-structured, well-organized team that have the ability to beat Manchester United, especially coming on that high, and that's a rule that I have in betting. I would never back Man United in this game, even at any at good odds.
Yeah.
Because it's tough to raise yourself to that level twice, and that's why I like Chelsea to win this.
And what are the odds on Chelsea on WSB?
Betway is 2.17. And then, Sporting Bet is 2.1.
Yeah, 2.1. So, look, I'm going to be looking into that, definitely.
Yeah, I think there's another one I like. I think Fulham at 3.5 against Leeds is a red light special.
That really confuses me. I mean, we'll get to that, further down the line. But
so let's get to Aston Villa at Brentford.
So you're 2-1 Chelsea as well.
2-1 Chelsea as well, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So then we got Aston Villa. The last 8 games between Villa and Brentford have won 4 and drawn 8 and drawn 4.
Yeah.
So I mean, Villa's not a good bounce back prospect for Villa.
No.
There's always usually an uplift when a new manager comes in with players trying to fight for their places.
Yeah.
But there's something about this game that I keep oscillating. And I think when I do that, I've got to go with a 1-1 draw,
Yeah, I'm going to actually go Brentford 1-0.
Yeah, I had written down Brentford 2-1, but going to follow my gut again and say 1-1.
Nice.
And then we have my mighty Leeds, who are plummeting to the bottom of the table. And I said that it was going to be a tough year for them.
Yeah.
They had a good victory against Chelsea, which gave everybody hope. I think they started out 7 out of 9 points and looking good. Unfortunately, they've got 2 out of 21 points in the last 7 games. And they've been close games, and they look good against Arsenal, and arguably were unlucky with the result. But
the reality is still the points.
The reality is still the points. And, I think with Leicester's victory over Leeds yesterday, there's 1 point between... There's 1 point from the bottom to 17.
Yeah.
And so that's how tight. So you're gonna get relegated this year if you don't get 30 points. It's only going to take 30 points to stay up.
Yeah.
But every week I want to see where these points are going to come from for Leeds.
No, exactly.
And I'm sick of all this. Yeah, they're playing well. They press well. They're unlucky. And so I still go back and say Bielsa should have never been fired.
Yeah.
And I'll be proven right in that. I think that you've got 4 teams that are being dragged into 5 teams being dragged into the relegation zone. So you got Leicester on 8, you've got Forest on 6, Wolves on 9, Aston Villa 9, Leeds 9, Everton 10. So you've got 6 teams there that are being sucked into that vortex of relegation. And again, I think it's going to be, I think I've got Wolves to win this weekend, but Forest should lose. Aston Villa point, Leeds. I've got Leeds to lose 2-1 to Fulham.
Yeah.
And at 3.50, I don't know where the bookies have got this one.
No, I'm also...
Yeah, granted.
Are you gonna take that bet now, or are you gonna wait until before?
No, I'll take that bet now.
Yeah.
After the show, I'll take that bet. Put just for 500 to pay back $12.50. It's too good to pass up. Even if look, the great thing about being a Leeds fan is betting against them. If they win, then great.
Is that the only great thing about being a Leeds fan? Being able to bet against them every weekend.
Well, I have. I've taken a position that they're going to get relegated this year.
Yeah.
The Ted Lasso effect. So hopefully I'm proved wrong, but I mostly am right. We've got then Southampton up against Arsenal, and you've got to take your hat off to Arsenal. They were my pick to finish second this year.
Yeah.
So I think that surprised a lot of people that I was that bullish on them. And we're only 10 games into the season, but they've got a 90% winning record in terms of points. 27 out of 30 points. They play a Southampton team that is also thereabouts in the relegation, and I don't see anything. I think Arsenal wins 9 in a row and beats them 3-1, even though it's St. Mary's.
I like Arsenal 2-1.
Okay, cool. And then we have the last 3 games. We have a Wolves v Leicester. My take on this game is simply that, Wolves, I know they're in 18th. Leicester are in 19th. So again, a crucial game. But Leicester look terrible on the road this year.
Yeah.
And Wolves aren't too bad at home. I think they eke out a 2-1 victory here for me. Yeah,
me too. They've got Traore back, Costa there.
And Traore's a player, eh?
Yeah, he is. I think often a bit of a frustrating player, given how many chances he creates that he isn't finishing off. But nevertheless, a game changer, especially against a side like Leicester that just has been caught sleeping for so much of this year. So so certain teams traveling is much bigger than other teams, and Leicester this year definitely one of those. So in full agreement with you there. Well, full agreement. I'm going to say 2-0. I don't think Leicester are going to score.
Okay. Another good game, Tottenham versus Newcastle.
Yeah, I'd say probably with Chelsea United up there. Just given that I found them both very enjoyable teams to watch, I've really been liking Newcastle's progression throughout the year. I think Tottenham fans would have expected more this week.
Third.
No, this week against United. They really sort of rolled over.
They did.
But not to discredit a great performance from United. I say 2-2 for this game.
You're not going to believe it. Tottenham 2, Newcastle 2.
Nice.
I just think that these teams are going to play attractive football. Tottenham will have something to prove, but Newcastle are a solid outfit.
Yeah.
Money does buy success in this instance.
Yeah. Both teams to score, definitely a bet to look at there or add into your multi-bet for the weekend.
Mm-hmm. What did you think of people saying that Klopp was a racist by coming out and saying that they can't compete with the Saudi money?
I didn't see that people were saying that. Interesting.
Yeah, it was interesting. When people tell the truth, it's considered racism. West Ham versus Bournemouth.
Should be Hammers to win. Should be.
Well, they're the 13th, showing a bit of form.
1-0 in a very boring game.
Yeah, but they're going the right way. They play and Bournemouth. Look, the West Ham's a tough place to get a result. Excuse me, tough place to get a result. And Bournemouth, to me, I've just got West Ham 2, Bournemouth 0.
I'm gonna go West Ham 1, Bournemouth 0.
Okay, so we're in agreement there. My bet I'll throw up a 10-team or another accumulator, see if we can land one of those.
Yeah, stick up the slip.
Stick
for
up
everybody asking.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've got a little multi-bet going. I've got Fulham, Chelsea, and Arsenal to win, and that gives you odds of 11.2, I think. So just put 50 rand on that.
Fulham, Arsenal, and Chelsea.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, I think, and then in terms of my bets that I'm going to take outright, going to lump a little bit of money on Chelsea at 2-1. I think that's great odds for a team that's undefeated in the last couple of matches at home, and then Fulham, like you said, at just over 3-1. Put a tickle on that.
Yeah, tickle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look, the games are coming thick and fast, and there's going to be no respite for us because we got the World Cup soccer in between, which is in itself going to be it's going to be a fantastic sporting spectacle. I've got Canada and Wales playing, and I've decided not to go. And it's not to not support it. I just know I can't have a drink and a laugh there. So I don't want to be taking a shuttle out to Dubai to go and have a few drinks and enjoy the event.
Yeah. No, it's a very, very absurd occasion, but we sit and wait to see what happens.
Yeah. And how that
and Haaland sits and waits as well, just rests up.
So does Mo Salah.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting. We need to dive into all the players that are playing and which clubs they belong to see what kind of impact. Because psychologically, if your team gets to the semi-final, and gets put out, you've played 5 or 6 games there, and you're going to be gutted of going out, and injuries are going to be a big part of this World Cup, as they are with every World Cup.
Yeah.
And managers will just be praying that they get their players back healthy and fit, but that's not always the case. So it literally is 6 weeks of holding your breath, watching your players and hoping that you get as many of them back, because that's going to have a massive impediment on a team's ability to succeed or fail in the second half of the season. This has never happened before.
Yeah. Very exciting time coming up. I think 2 years ago this time we had zero sport, so...
Yeah. No, we kept having the Curry Cup.
Over and over and over again.
Bulls versus Stormers 4.0. Yeah. Anyway, good luck with your bets this weekend.
Thanks, Kev. You too.
And stay in touch, man.